His Excellency Mr. Tharman Shanmugaratnam, President of the Republic of Singapore.
Additional Press Secretary to the President, OSD to the President, Private Secretary to the President,
Member of Parliament, one Rizal, Principal Private Secretary to the President, Julius, Dr. Professor Tran, Deputy Secretary, Director General, Deputy High Commissioner, Education, Special Assistant to the Minister, Mr. Chu, Press Secretary to the President, Mr. Ho, Cabinet President, Mr. Khan, Deputy Director, DBO, ADC to the President, Fadal Fund, ADC to Madam Teresa.
सिंगापुर गणराज्य के राष्ट्रपति महामहिम थर्मन शनमुगरत्नम, उपराष्ट्रपति श्री जगदीप धनखड़ जी, प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी, विशिष्ट अतिथिगण, देवियों और स्वजन, मुझे राष्ट्रपति भवन में सिंगापुर गणराज्य के राष्ट्रपति महामहिम थर्मन शनमुगरत्नम, श्रीमती जेन इटोगी और उनके प्रतिनिधिमंडल के सदस्यों का स्वागत करते हुए अत्यंत प्रसन्नता हो रही है। भारत और सिंगापुर के बीच घनिष्ठ संबंध है जो सदियों पुराने वाणिज्यिक, सांस्कृतिक और लोगों के बीच पारंपरिक संबंधों पर आधारित है। सिंगापुर भारत का महत्वपूर्ण साझेदार है। सिंगापुर ने अपनी स्वतंत्रता के बाद उल्लेखनीय प्रगति की है और आज हर विकासशील देश के लिए प्रेरणा का स्रोत है। मैं इस सराहनीय विकास यात्रा को जारी रखने के लिए सिंगापुर की जनता और सरकार को अपनी शुभकामनाएं देती हूँ। आपकी प्रगति हमें प्रेरित करती है और हम अपने देश में भी सिंगापुर की विकासात्मक सफलता को दोहराने के लिए दृढ़ संकल्प के साथ काम कर रहे हैं। मुझे खुशी है कि हम इस लक्ष्य के लिए सहयोग कर रहे हैं। साझे इतिहास, विश्वास और पारस्परिक सम्मान पर आधारित मैत्री की लंबे परंपरा तथा विभिन्न क्षेत्रों में व्यापक सहयोग के कारण भारत सिंगापुर सहयोग पिछले कुछ वर्षों में और प्रगाढ़ हुआ। हमारा द्विपक्षीय व्यापार और निवेश लगातार बढ़ रहा है। हमें हमारे बीच मजबूत रक्षा सहयोग है। फिनटेक और स्किल डेवलपमेंट हमारी साझेदारी के महत्वपूर्ण घटक बनकर उभरे हैं। हमारे बीच सांस्कृतिक और शैक्षिक संबंध मजबूत है और लोगों के बीच काफ़ी आदान प्रदान होता है। बहुपक्षीय मंचों पर भी हमारा सहयोग लगातार बढ़ रहा है। देवियों और स्वजनों, प्रधानमंत्री की हाल की सिंगापुर यात्रा के दौरान भारत सिंगापुर संबंधों को कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप का दर्जा दिया गया। हाल ही में स्थापित भारत सिंगापुर मिनिस्टरियल राउंड टेबल हमारे द्विपक्षीय सहयोग को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए एक अनूठा मंच है। जिसके जरिए हम कनेक्टिविटी, डिजिटाइजेशन, स्वास्थ्य तथा शिक्षा जैसे महत्वपूर्ण क्षेत्र में साथ मिलकर काम करेंगे। सिंगापुर भारत की आर्कटिक पॉलिसी और इंडो पैसिफिक विजन का भी एक प्रमुख स्तंभ है। लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों में हमारी साझा आस्था हमें एक दूसरे से जुड़ती है। महामुहिम, मुझे बताया गया है कि आप ओडिशा का भी दौरा करेंगे। मुझे विश्वास है कि आपकी यात्रा से राज्यों के लोगों के लिए कई सकारात्मक परिणाम सामने आएंगे। भारत 1965 में सिंगापुर को मान्यता देने वाले पहले देशों में शामिल था और इस वर्ष हम राजनयिक संबंधों की स्थापना की 60वें वर्षगांठ मना रहे हैं। ये दोनों देशों के लिए एक महत्वपूर्ण उपलब्धि है। आज इस अवसर पर महामुहिम के साथ एक संयुक्त लोगों का अनावरण करके मुझे अत्यंत प्रसन्नता हुई। देवियों और स्वजनों, हमारे दोनों देश गहरे सांस्कृतिक और कलात्मक संबंधों से जुड़े हुए हैं, जिन्हें हमारी खान पान और संगीत विरासत में भी देखा जा सकता है। मुझे विश्वास है कि आज के रात्रि भोज के दौरान आप इन परंपराओं की एक झलक देख पाएंगे। महामुहिम, एक बार फिर मैं आपका और आपके प्रतिनिधिमंडल का भारत में स्वागत करती हूँ। हमारे आने वाली पीढ़ियों के समृद्ध और समावेशी भविष्य के निर्माण के लिए भारत सिंगापुर के साथ सहयोग करता रहेगा। इन शब्दों के साथ महामुहिम देवियों और स्वजनों, आइए हम सब मिलकर महामुहिम राष्ट्रपति थर्मन शनमुगरत्नम और श्रीमती जेन इटोगी के अच्छे स्वास्थ्य के लिए, सिंगापुर के लोगों की निरंतर प्रगति और समृद्धि के लिए, भारत और सिंगापुर के बीच घनिष्ठ मित्रता और सहयोग के लिए अपनी शुभकामनाएं व्यक्त करें। धन्यवाद।
Your Excellency, President Droupadi Murmu, President of the Republic of India, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a real pleasure for me to be back in India and an especial honor to be here as we commemorate the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Singapore and India. I would like to thank President Murmu for your invitation and for hosting my state visit, and for the warm and gracious hospitality extended to me and my delegation. I have visited India many times in my previous capacities and witnessed India's transformation, particularly in the last 10 years. India has made remarkable advances in social and economic development, uplifting the lives of hundreds of millions, especially women and the rural poor. The introduction of basic social amenities on a massive scale over the last decade, from electrifying villages to providing clean piped water and cooking gas, to building household toilets, to establishing primary health care and rural childcare centers, has changed lives on a scale extraordinary, both by historical standards in India and by any global standard. Rural poverty in total has been cut by more than half in the last decade, lifting 250 million people up from multi-dimensional poverty, which considers multiple factors such as health, education, and living standards, all within this short period. Unprecedented too has been the deployment of the digital revolution to improve lives. The mass of people, from street vegetable vendors to farmers, now have their own bank accounts and health accounts and access to a thriving digital payment system that supports cashless transactions for all. Achieving these advances at such speed and scale across 28 states reflects India's collective ambition and ability to organize for the public good. It also now provides a foundation of social inclusion that positions India well in its ambition to becoming a developed nation, Viksit Bharat, by 2047. Well before then, it should also become the world's third largest economy. Singapore and India share a special and long-standing friendship. The bonds between our two countries are, as President Murmu just highlighted, rooted in history and go back centuries. Indeed, Singapore's name, or Singapura in Malay, was derived from Sanskrit and reflects India's early influence in Southeast Asia. And through the centuries, Singapore has been a gateway for India's trade with Southeast Asia and East Asia. 2025 marks the 60th anniversary of Singapore's independence and the 60th anniversary of Singapore-India diplomatic relations. India was one of the first few countries to recognize Singapore's independence on the 11th of August, 1965, just 2 days after we separated from Malaysia. Over the years since our independence, our ties have grown from strength to strength. Singapore has been the leading foreign investor in India for several years, and we are now committed to investing in and participating in India's ambitious plans for the future. Our bilateral relations are on a new trajectory. The upgrade in our relations to a comprehensive strategic partnership announced during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's official visit to Singapore last September is leading to collaboration on several new and forward-looking initiatives, including a joint flagship program for training of industry-ready skills in India's young population, cooperation in developing India's semiconductor ecosystem and new generation industrial parks, and deepening our partnership in green energy. We are also exploring ways to enable the safe and trusted flow of data between our financial institutions and other critical areas. Through the India-Singapore Ministerial Roundtable and other platforms, we will continue to review and refresh our bilateral agenda in our mutual interests. There is much more that we can do together. And with each of these new initiatives, we also show how it is possible to achieve mutual prosperity and trust between nations in an increasingly uncertain and fractious world. I look forward to my visit to Odisha, where we hope to explore further opportunities for bilateral cooperation. Known for its world-famous temples and heritage sites, Odisha also holds considerable economic potential, given its wealth of natural resources and its strong foundation in education, with the literacy rate close to the national average. Part of the eastern region that is a new engine of growth for India, Prime Minister Modi has set the goal of making Odisha one of the fastest growing states. I will be joined by a Singapore business delegation in Odisha to understand its emerging potential, including in ports, logistics, infrastructure development, and renewable energy. We are also building on Singapore's close involvement in Odisha's World Skills Center to help develop the skills in demand for future industries. I should add something which is probably not known to my Singapore delegation, which is that Odisha's maritime history tied it very closely with Southeast Asia. In fact, one of the most famous Odisha crafts is Sambalpuri silk, used to make Sambalpuri saris, which uses the ikat method, which is, of course, well known in Southeast Asia. The Southeast Asians would like to believe that India imported ikat method from Southeast Asia, and the Indians would like to believe that Southeast Asia imported it from India. I think it is wisest that this question remain open to keep both sides happy. And every year in November, Odisha celebrates what they call Bali Yatra, the journey to Bali, to celebrate that link between Odisha's, through its long history, and Southeast Asia. Let me continue with my speech. India and Singapore, in many ways, India and Singapore, in many ways, are striking contrasts. One, a continental scale nation with a history stretching over millennia. The other, a city-state built on its social compact and a ceaseless effort to be relevant to the larger world. Yet we complement each other and have found ways to tap on our differences to strengthen our partnership. We bridge differences through mutual respect and understanding of each other, our ability to find pragmatic solutions that serve both our interests, and a shared commitment to peace and a sustainable global future. As the great humanist Rabindranath Tagore said, "Let us unite, not in spite of our differences, but through them. For differences can never be wiped away, and life would be so much poorer without them. Let all human races keep their own personalities and yet come together, not in a uniformity that is dead, but in a unity that is living." Not in a uniformity that is dead, but a unity that is living. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite you to join me in wishing the good health and success of President Murmu, the continued peace, progress, and prosperity of India, and wishing for the enduring friendship between Singapore and India and a unity that is living. Thank you very much.